did list 4 things that I wanted. Mayor, did you have extra? And I did point out to Mrs. Comer, those of us who attended the new board member orientation, I thought this was a fantastic section that they had in this book that really walked you through what these reports are, where this money comes from, how it is being spent, and all of that. But at this time, we will listen to our accounting. What's your title, baby? Miss Mary Coleman.
In your package, you should have about six handouts, I think it is. The first one is just a brief overview of business services, if you want to take a look at it. And it indicates how many people we have on staff in the business services office. I think it comes to about 6 people. And you can, like I said, you can review that at your leisure. But Mrs. Washington had asked me to come to explain to you the different funds. And I took an extraction from the accounting manual. We have a set of guidelines that we have to follow based on the State Board of Accounts. They tell us how to set up our books, how to maintain the books, and what forms to use. We have prescribed forms and such. So this presentation came from that. Okay, I'm looking at the one that says new fund numbers. This handout right here. And the manual was revised in 2010. Up in the right hand corner, you can see that. And the 5 tax-based funds, the one is the general fund, and the fund number for that on our books is 01. On the State Board of Accounts books, they use 4 digits, 0100. We have the debt service fund, and underneath each fund, they tell you what you can do with the, what you can purchase, how you receive it, and what you can purchase from the general fund. We got debt service. That fund number is 020 on our book, 0200 on their book. And it gives a description of what the debt service fund is used for. Capital projects is Fund 35. And there's a lot of descriptions on what 35 is used for. And then Fund 41 is Transportation Fund. And that's how we maintain our books. So we receive monies into the different funds. We also have a lot of federal funds that are on our list, but these are the basic state, the tax-based funds that you'll see a lot of expenditures and revenues going towards.
Is it okay to ask you questions about these at this time before you go further? Your question.
How long have we been using this process? Since 2010.
No. This book was the State Board of Accounts since forever.
My reason for that question is because I'm trying to figure out how do we get so messed up with the IRS.
That's different. You want to address that?
Okay. With the IRS, or you may have to help me on the payroll. You pay payroll and then you pay employee taxes. So to make the district continue to move forward, employee taxes were not paid. And how much are employee taxes?
No, the federal and the FICA was not paid. The FICA is, what is it, 7.65%? But the federal tax withholding, that's dependent on each individual, depending on how many people you claim as your dependent and such. But for several pay periods in 2013, I think it was, we did did not pay the, federal government for the taxes that we withheld from employees' paychecks. That's how we got in.
What year was that, 16 or 17, you said?
2013.
13? That far back?
Yeah.
Why, Mrs. Carter? Why not? The money was available.
The money was not there to, well, there was a choice between paying employees or paying the entire taxes. So the taxes were withheld
So this is one reason we're in that situation, huh?
for the $7 million, or whether $8 million now, including interest.
I'd like to know, has anybody, tried to reach, Mr. Skowski?
But back when Ms. Moore mentioned that before, and I reached out prior to that time, and then Ms. Moore reached out behind me. Since then, when Senator Melton was here, I received a letter, from, the letter that he sent to Biskowski. And so, as a matter of fact, this afternoon, I have a meeting with some people about the taxes.
Why, you think, State Representative Wiskowski can do something for us in terms of those, the IRS?
He may be
Am I
able to.
hearing this?
That's what you may be hearing, yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm,
Not to be,
I'm
from my
just saying,
understanding, not to have it all, eliminated, but we're looking at other areas to try to have some of it eliminated too.
because he and I are very good friends.
Is, Mr. Jack Martin aware of this, and is he doing anything
No.
to help us out of this?
He is aware of it, and that is when I gave the information to him when he came on that Ms. Moore is speaking about. But, right now we're paying IRS $10,000 a month, and that's what Mr. Whitaker negotiated with the IRS. So we're current in terms of what we should be paying them
Oh,
with
we're not
the,
behind.
with the negotiation, but we still owe the
Okay.
dollars on the books.
As long as we're keeping up with it.
Yeah.
With
Yeah, Ms. Coleman, make sure she sends that $10,000 a month.
All right, Mrs. Washington also asked me to go over the purchase order report. That's the next handout you have.
Purchase order 1929.
Well, this is just an extraction. I chose one that was very short so that we have limited resources as far as paper and ink. So I didn't want to waste the paper and ink. So this report comes to you every, working session, is what it's called now. Okay, and what it is a list of all purchase orders that we have entered into the system for the 2-week period prior to, from the last, and subsequently from the last, working session. And on this particular report, we gave this back in December, but there were only 2 purchase orders. And the report is in 2 forms. There's a summary report and a detailed report. On the summary report, which is the first page after the superintendent's signature page, it just lists the purchase orders that will be on the report. So there were only 2, 192574 and 192575. And then if you turn the page, you'll see what the detail will explain, will show you what is being ordered, what account number is being ordered from. So if you look at 192574, the vendor is Gary Printing, and they're ordering 611 by 17 report cards and 5-part cardinal setup for $639.05. And the account that's being charged was, after you've been here a while, you'll know that 414 is Title I. That's the account number. Account name, rather. It goes to 414. And there's some other descriptions that they put in the notes. A lot of vendors are not giving us quotes anymore, but some are. So they'll put in the notes that they got a quote from this vendor or that vendor, but here in these notes it says that Gary Printing Incorporated is the only printer that will take requisition orders. And that's because, again, of our financial situation with our vendors.
Where they're located?
Gary Printing
Is
says
that in Gary,
Gary, Indiana is what's on here.
It's on 11th Avenue.
Okay, okay, I didn't know they were still in the business.
Ms. Comer, if I may,
Mm-hmm.
when Mr. Tolliver, I don't know who he was talking to, my mind is gone. But anyway, when he made the request a little while ago about the 3 quotes, this is where you would see those quotes ordinarily. And in the past, when we had vendors who was working with us, or we could work with, who was working with us, I guess is a better way to say it, then it was no problem getting the 3 quotes. But what Mr. Tolliver, I don't like seeing what other folks say.
You can feel free, it's no problem.
Okay, what Mr. Tolliver was indicating that even though, let's just say, Paramount, and I'm just throwing it out there because that's the printer I can think of right now. Paramount would not give us a bid. You still want to show that you at least asked them for a bid. Is that what I'm saying? And I guess Garco would have been a better example since Garco is in Gary. Because I think do we still try to, we only have
Well,
a
I've
handful.
asked them to.
Yeah, we only have a few businesses left in Gary at this point. But I think, like I said, I don't really like trying to repeat what someone has said. But that was the intent when you heard that a little while ago, that we are not seeing 3 vendors on these.
Right. Ma'am, be specific.
Yes, sir, go right ahead. That's why I keep looking at you. I thought you were gonna jump in.
No, I was not. I was
Okay,
I
go
was
right
finishing
ahead, go
thought.
right ahead.
This is my issue. I used to sit on the other side of the table and I would be watching, particular buildings and grounds. That's what really had my focus. And I would come and I would see that it wasn't Mrs. Comer, but it would be the maintenance department that would, I recall people sitting at the table asking questions as to how come there aren't 3 bids and, you just get a cursory answer and you move on. When I looked at I haven't seen I've reviewed the 2016, but when I reviewed the 2015 accounts and expenditures, if that's the correct title, what I found out is that we spent $184,000 on maintenance, and we spent $1.8 million on outsourcing for the same thing. So what I'm just making sure, want to make sure is who's going to be responsible for bringing to the board those 3 quotes, and if there aren't 3 quotes, who's going to, there should be an explanation for that, so we can have that as a matter of the public record.
Who's the outsourcing?
Well, when I say
I'm
outsourcing,
sorry for
James,
being late.
no, James, when I'm saying outsourcing, I'm saying, let's say that there needs to be a pipe fix. I would be at these meetings and buildings and grounds would come and say, well,
Okay, I see.
how come there wasn't, well, I couldn't find anybody. Well, that's fine, that may be accurate, but I just think that these things have to be documented.
Mhm.
This company didn't come, I contacted all these and I couldn't get a response. I think that does a lot more for the legitimacy of our expenditures, rather, when you look at the numbers that we're spending 10 times more outsourcing. That was in 2015 than we did actual preventive maintenance. And, I just wanted to see if we can get a
Now,
handle on that.
the reason I'm almost sure, the reason they were outsourcing is that we didn't have those people actually in the district working.
But we're not sure of that.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into outsourcing right now.
No,
though.
I wasn't bringing
No,
up,
I
I wasn't bringing up
what-
that. I was just bringing up the
what I'm talking
rationale
about-
as to why I asked the question.
What I was talking about is just like, for instance, if we needed a pipe fitter right now, and we didn't have one in the district, we would have to go out.
Right, right.
And find out, okay, that's what I'm basically on.
So, Ms. Comer, I'm sorry, but I just wanted to be a little bit more specific as to why, and you had said it, I just wanted to reiterate the reason we were not seeing 3 vendors. And can you point that out to them again, those who may not know where to look for them?
Okay. You would look for it. Okay, we're on the left-hand side of this page 2, on page 2, where it says note. It gives a requisition number 88398, and then it says note. And in the right writing that says Gary Printing Incorporated is the only printer that will take requisition orders.
You see that, Mr. Bailey?
Yeah.
You see it? I didn't talk to them, you used to read these.
And if I may add, that if Ms. Washington would say that that was presented to us, you know, that they wouldn't take that, one of the things that I would be looking for is this. Where's your correspondence to Mary Coleman, the vendor, that you requested that? And where's that correspondence back from the vendor, or some indication that they're not gonna provide that service?
You really don't want to see all that on there. do you?
I do, I wanna make respectful.
But you can always request it, that's all I'm saying.
I just, well, I wanna make sure that that's available when we make decisions, that's all.
Well, our
Mrs. Coleman, do you check with the three?
I was just gonna say that our purchasing is not centralized anymore. Each building does, their own requisitions. And they will keep it on file in, say, for instance, a different school, bank, ordered something from somebody. They would indicate the 3 quotes that they got, or they would indicate that they didn't get 3 quotes because of whatever reasons. And they keep it in their file. They don't send all that to me.
What I'm simply suggesting is that if someone would come to me, come before this board and I ask that question, I wouldn't want to hear, I gotta go back to the principal. The principal, if they've made that purchase, it would seem to me that one of their functions would be, if I'm going to make this recommendation to buy X amount of shoes from this company, hypothetically, that I should have all of that other supporting documentation to ensure that I follow through with the guidelines.
In the building, yeah.
Well,
They would have it in the building. It won't, it doesn't come to us.
I respect that, but what happens when I ask you a question about where's that at, and you say you gotta go to the building?
I would have to, because I wouldn't have.
See, that's the purchasing secretary that does that.
Yeah, but James, my point is that when we're making a decision, in my view, I'm only speaking for me,
Okay.
when we're making a decision, a fiscal decision, I don't wanna simply go by what someone says. I wanna see the paper in front of me.
That's where that word TRUST comes in sometimes. And then if you need to verify, it can be verified, am I correct?
I would just appreciate it being verified before I vote, that's all.
Madam President, I would find that very out of order for people to be ordering on their own accord. If she's the person responsible for that within the corporation, everything should come to her. I can't be a principal at work school and I order my light bulb from Common Edison Electric, and you guys using NIPSCO. That's too much disarray, and that could cause a very big problem and cause the reason for us to be in a financial bind.
But Norman,
And that's not working on the same accord. That's not doing things decent and in order. I find that to be a very big problem, and we need to do something about that immediately. Not to change subjects, but if you're gonna outsource something, our plumbing should have been outsourced a long time ago, being as we don't have a plumber. We should have somebody on top of that right now. There's some things we need to get a grip on, and we need to meet about that as a board and get some things accomplished, decent and in order.
Well, the plumbing part is what Dr. Food is working on with those gentlemen that were here this morning. We're trying to really get all of that in line, okay?
All I'm stating is,
I
it's an
understand,
emergency,
yeah,
and it should be outsourced immediately.
well,
That's an
she's working on a plan
Mhm.
with that group of people who were here. Dr. Am I speaking for you?
Yes, but I do understand what he's saying in terms of this plumbing issue.
Yeah, it is an emergency.
And so we do have to find the funds for it.
Okay.
Not to step on no toes, but this is the reason why Jack Martin should be here. When we have a meeting, he should be at all of our meetings, because if he's handling our finances, he needs to be accountable to us for our emergencies and what we feel finances should be spent on. Just for further,
Edification.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
back to the question Mr. Bailey asked about purchasing. Mr. Bailey, I was in the building as an administrator, teacher, coach, et cetera. And we've always had a purchasing secretary in the building. Now, once it leaves the building, I don't know where it goes, but I'm I'm just saying to you, we purchased from our purchasing secretary. Okay, that was her job. Now, whether after she purchased it, sent it to Mary Comer, I don't know, but I'm just saying, in the building, and every building that that does purchase.
You're saying that's procedure?
That's been procedure as long as, when I was a principal and stuff like that, that was procedure.
My question would be, how did that work for us?
It was great. I never had a problem.
But in the,
I never had a problem.
but in the past though, and maybe still now, isn't there a book or a list of vendors that we are to use?
You're right.
So, I think you're, and correct me if I'm wrong, from what I heard from you, it's almost like, Ms. Dunham at A school can just go out and buy her light bulbs from Ace. I'm the principal at B school, I buy my light bulbs from Commonwealth, which is cheap. That's not the way it's done.
No, that's
I
not
hope it's not done that
No,
way.
that's not
Let me
it.
just
I know in the
say
past
this.
it was not.
Currently, we're not doing it that way at all, because we don't have money in general fund. Each school is given, a line item in the budget, in the general fund. However, since our finances are what they are, most of the purchase orders that you will see on these reports come from federal programs, because they're not ordering in the schools anymore. We don't have a warehouse. We used to have a warehouse
That's right.
where we would purchase things in bulk and pay a lesser price for the items like pencils, paper, stuff like that, paper clips, whatever. We don't have a warehouse anymore. So now they have to go and purchase from the vendors that will do business with us. And again, you don't see many of the purchase orders being charged to the general fund because we don't have the money to pay the vendors. Federal funds we have available. So most of these purchase orders you're gonna see will have a federal fund number on it.
Well, see, that just established another problem for me, because at our last board meeting at the Career Center, when we had Mr. Martin before the mic, he said he hasn't received any request for toilet paper, supplies. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right, that's what he said.
Right. So that explains that something is not being done decent and order. Because if he's saying there's no problem to get that stuff, then the proper requests aren't being made. And I wanna know why.
And toilet paper and that should come from the custodial. Now, I know that we do make other.
Can I clear, he was talking when the custodians were complaining, saying that they buy, Madam Chair,
Go right
that they
ahead, go
buy
right
things
ahead.
out of their pocket, and they were talking about cleaning and custodial things. Jack Martin was saying he didn't know why people have to buy things on their own, because he hadn't got any requests for those kind of things.
But that part is not true either, because items of that sort have been purchased.
I'm just saying,
But I
this is
hear
what
what you're
Mr.
saying,
Bailey
but
is saying,
right,
that
that's
that's
what
what,
Mr.
that's what
Martin said.
Mr. Martin was responding to. The custodian saying we go out, Ms. Tarver was saying that we spend money out of our pocket to buy things. And Jack Martin said no requests are coming in.
And that's all I'm saying. If things are not done decent and order, we can't accomplish anything. We can't get out of debt, and we can't move forward. As a board, we need to make things be put in perspective so that things can be taken care of properly. That's all I'm saying.
Maintenance. How are our maintenance and our custodial supplies purchased? What's the methodology?
You wanna ask that question for right now?
For right now,
How?
for right now, purchased in bulk. And as far as the distribution, I don't know what they do.
My question is who, you're right, thank you. I wanted to know who makes the purchases.
But at that time, the custodian, Kenny Smith was doing it, but the personal custodial services and the personal buildings, grounds and maintenance.
So there has never been a middle person, or is there not a middle person doing purchases for custodians, supplies, like,
And so moving forward, that was what we talked about earlier, that Mr. Gordon will be leading that charge and making certain that supplies that are purchased will come through him because he's the purchasing agent.
so I can hear that to say that there will not be any more additional costs because we brought in a purchasing person in between to do those purchases for maintenance and supplies. I'm saying that cost is gonna be eliminated.
Yes, but I don't think that was a cost before.
I'm not gonna call any names, but it was my understanding that there was a person who was purchasing custodial and maintenance supplies as a middle person, a purchasing agent. I don't wanna call the names here, but if it's not true, then it's fine, but that's what I understand.
But I thought-
Maybe Dr. Pruitt, that can also some, you're trying to answer your question down here, Mr. Bill. Maybe that's some clarity, you can come to that when you're working through the budget and all of that with the staff. So maybe
Yeah,
that,
because it's been difficult with there not being a budget,
Right,
because like the
right.
superintendent doesn't even have a budget. I don't even have any place that I can buy paper or even an ink pen from.
I
So
respect
that's in every department is what I'm trying to say to get back to Mr. Bailey's concerns. Now, Mr. Martin isn't here to speak for himself on what he stated, but, there have been times when submission of these for like soap, paper towel, and toilet paper were done, and they were ordered. Oftentimes now, in terms of maintenance, sometimes it may become a request that's given to Mary Comer, and Mary Comer will reach out to Mr. Martin and myself for verification of whether or not it can be paid at that time. Is that
Well,
correct,
is
Ms.
he
Comer?
taking care of that properly? Is he saying that he will pay for it when you all make the request, or he's saying he's?
Usually, if the request comes, yeah, he'll say yes, if there's money available. Right now, we have about $150,000 on hand, period. And we're really concerned about the March 3rd payroll, even though today is a payroll. After we make payroll today, we have about $150,000 left. And so Cigna, that was the call I was on a few minutes ago, and they're holding about $3 million for us, and we're at 3.1 million. So the negotiations with the vice president there, we have always been at a cap of about 3 million. Now, when we go into March, there's another $400,000 that needs to be paid too, so that takes us to 3.5. That's how come we were trying to negotiate with them what we would do. So it's kind of, I know it sounds complicated, but when monies are limited, and Ms. Comer may be able to speak more on this than I can, it's really difficult to be able to do certain things, and you have to prioritize day to day.
That's why I'm just saying that, I feel that Mr. Martin should be here because he's handling the finances, and he decides what's more important than something else as far as getting paid. That's a part of just being decent and order.
and if I can just speak to that, the purpose of this meeting today is just an overview for the four of you. It's not really a budget and finance meeting. There are some good questions, some excellent questions that come out of this meeting. And I appreciate the fact that you're saying he should be here when we're having a budget and finance meeting. But keep in mind, that's not what this is. This is, for lack of a better term, a professional development for the four of you. So that when you receive these documents on budget and finance day, it would help you to better clarify what you're looking at. And like the observation that Mr. Tolliver made this morning, now you know that you should be looking to see who these persons are, or who these companies are that we've gone to.
Right.
Am I? Okay.
I just wanted to revisit my question briefly, and it's this. And since you said it is, I'll take it as professional development, that's why I'm trying to figure some things out. And you may have answered it and I missed it, and if I did, I apologize. But this is what I'd like to know. For maintenance custodial supplies, who speaks to the vendor? Who speaks to the vendor and says, okay, I want X amount of this, X amount of that? Who serves as that person?
Moving forward, Mr. Gordon will.
Prior to that, it was Mr. Smith.
There was no one else.
Not that I know.
Okay,
Not that I know.
okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Now, this has just been in recent years since we have been at this deficit, right? Because we didn't have this problem.
We used to have a warehouse.
We had the warehouse,
Right.
exactly, and all of that stuff was housed in there. I know that for a fact.
There was a warehouse and there were additional employees.
Exactly.
Right.
Well,
And
since
we
we've
would
been in
order
this
in
deficit,
bulk.
you got a person that's doing
And
it.
then they would deliver to the
And each
school.
school
Right.
would
Yeah, they would
order
deliver
from
to
the
the
warehouse.
schools.
They would do warehouse requisitions.
But who,
Carlos, you know that, you went to
James,
school.
that's not the question I'm asking. The question I'm asking is, who dealt with the vendor? And who picked up the supplies from the vendor? And who took the supplies to the warehouse? My understanding is that there was another link in that chain that we're not discussing. I may be incorrect.
Mr. Smith, from my understanding, he was actually taking supplies
Now,
to the school.
I will not call a name, I'll talk about that in executive session, I just wanna have some clarity on that. So everybody's saying that this is what our staff goes directly to the vendor, whether it's Ajax or this company out of Tinley Park, Illinois, and they make the purchases directly. If that's the case, okay. What I mean by that, James, is they're the ones who call, they're the ones who place the order, they're the ones who go pick up the order, they're the ones who distribute the order.
They don't go pick up.
No, they did very, very well.
James.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just
Okay. Please continue with your next item.
Okay, just let me back up just a little bit as far as the budget. The budget for the general fund has been approved and it's been loaded on RDS, but having a budget on a piece of paper is different than having cash money in the bank. And that's why I said that none of the purchase orders that you see, will be charged to the general fund, unless Mr. Martin says we can do that. I have a requisition right now from Ms. Peels for $165 for pictures that's charged to the general fund. And I have asked him if it's okay for me to go move forward with that. So, general fund budget is one thing, but like I said, having the cash to back up the budget is different.
So the schools are basically running off of title monies, like for supplies.
Okay, let's move to the selective payables report.
Okay.
Okay, again, I just took one page of the report. Same on the printed. So if you look across the top of the report, you have the vendor name, that sequence number, that's something internal for accounting staff. You have the vendor's name, the first line, we use Apple Computer. We paid them, where it says FL or PT, that would be full or partial. That's when a purchase order is involved in this report. The date that the item was paid, underneath that would be the vendor reference number, like the invoice number from the vendor. Then the amount was $1,249, and it was charged to the general fund. And the PO number was 192569. And it was for equipment from the superintendent's office. So that's how you read that report. And if you look down to Central States, there were several vouchers that we charged to Central States. And where you see the double asterisk, $4,558.40. That will be the total of all of these vouchers that we entered for Central State. Central State Fund, that's health and welfare for Teamsters.
You ready to explain that? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
When you said Central State, up.
Are there questions about, the selected payables report? What you looking at when that's given to you.
Okay, all right. The next report is the, manual invoice schedule. As I told you, now when I give you the selected payables report, that does not mean that we have the money, the report that we just looked at. We don't have the money to pay all our bills at one time. There was a time when we could do that, but not anymore. So we have to pick and choose what we pay. And this list right here shows you, the invoice schedule shows you what was paid between, meetings. So, we paid Mechanical Concepts, $5,000, was paid from the general fund. And so on and so on. So these are
Are
the
these
people that
salaries
we
on
pay.
here as well?
Salaries, oh no.
I see a person's name.
Those were their travel reimbursements.
Oh, okay,
They-
explain that,
mileage
please
reimbursement.
explain that, okay?
Mileage reimbursement.
Okay. That's a lot of people's names. Travel, water work, okay. Teachers, retirement, revenue services, okay. All right.
So the second item, that came out of what, the maintenance fund?
Correct, it should have been capital projects. Fund 35 is the capital projects fund.
Okay.
Other questions?
All of these are monthly payments, right?
No, these are the payments that we were able to make
Okay.
during that period.
There's one, if you don't mind me going back for just a quick second
Okay,
about the selected payables that I had a question about.
okay.
The Indiana American Water Company. That was one we just passed, we just finished the, selected payable report.
Okay, that was for water for 1 month. If you look through the, all the way on the right, it says water bills for the period 1.
So the double S represents the water bill for 1 month, 22,000.
$23,052.82. That added to the fire protection. We have like sprinklers in some of the buildings.
Is that all of the schools?
Yes,
Okay,
in this building.
okay, thank you so much.
Sarcoma. Why do we not have purchase order numbers for every,
Because some of the things we don't put on purchase orders, like the water bills, we don't do purchase orders for, we don't do purchase orders for, the insurances, we don't do purchase orders for the health and welfare.
or just like Daniel Janitorial Supplies, we have 2 payments to them, but we don't have a purchase order. And one was $8,000.
What document are you looking at?
She's looking at the, invoice
Invoice
schedule.
schedule number.
Manual. Okay, those items we paid for on an emergency basis, I would assume. Mr. Martin approved it.
That's kind of like what he was talking about at that meeting. He said nobody had asked him anything, because basically they must have asked him. See what I'm saying?
Say it again, please.
Because Ms. Coleman just said, she just assuming that that's something that Mr. Martin approved.
No, I'm not assuming,
Oh, she know for sure. And Mr. Martin made the comment at the meeting that he didn't understand why people were saying that they didn't have supplies because nobody came to him and asked him. So she's saying that he approved this,
Right.
because somebody asked him.
So that means it's a problem.
You want to take something?
Mr. Bailey, he wants to say something. I don't know, I'm just giving some clarification on the whole trend of
Right now,
thinking.
yeah, right now it's very difficult because there's no cash on hand and there's no budget. And so every day, as an emergency, and everything turns into an emergency because it's prioritizing how to spend the dollars.
And I guess I understand a little bit because I talked to Dr. Pruitt, and I know Mr. Bailey as a board member and runs a business. He just keep saying these things are not done right. And we're saying that this is a peculiar time.
Exactly.
That's why I just said, cause usually, schools don't have to buy their stuff out of Title I.
Right.
You can get it from
The
general fund,
superintendent don't have to get an email every day about
a bill or something.
$100.
Exactly.
And
So,
whether or not we
so
pay
nothing is being
$100.
done like it kind of,
Normal.
yeah.
And as it was done in the past, when there were funds, dollars in these actual funds, right?
Mhm.
So you have a good coach over there next to you.
That's good. My problem is just making sure everything is on check and balance.
And I'm sure we appreciate that, because we need to understand. And that was basically why I asked Mrs. Comer to go through each one of these documents so that you can understand when they're given to you on that budget and finance day. You know exactly what you're looking at and what questions to ask. So I hope it's beneficial.
Yes, it is.
All right, Ms. Comer.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes. I heard that there was a question asked about janitorial supplies, 2 orders, what was it, $8,000, just a minute ago, because there were no purchase orders attached to it. And the explanation, I understand the position, well, we have to assume that it was an emergency. That's the type of looseness I think we have to get away from. We need to know if it's if we spent $8,000 on for what, who it went, where did it go, who made the purchase. We need to know these things because that's. I think that anytime we have any purchase up here and we don't see purchase orders, well, yeah, we need to take a look at that, and we need to ask about that. So I'm simply saying that I think that those questions raised about the lack of
Accountability.
right, the lack of purchase orders does reflect a lack of accountability. We didn't have an answer. So again, I'm gonna repeat, that this is something that we need to focus on.
And once again, with them now trying to zero in on the budget, Dr. Pruitt, hopefully that's something that we will be able to. Okay, moving right along.
I just want a point of clarification. With the advent of Senate Bill 567, once it passes and everything, the Emergency Management Board and the Fiscal Board will be handling these issues, so this won't be an issue that the board would have to deal with, am I correct? Because they would be taking care of all of the financial decisions that has to do with the district.
That's my understanding.
So then we, as a board, don't have to worry about that, that will be their responsibility, so.
And I would imagine
Before
they
we
would
get
put
too
into
far off the
place
lane.
procedures as well.
Right.
And it's not necessarily going off the lane, I understand what you're saying, that's my understanding, but, because this is what we have to look at, once a month. Once again, I'm gonna reiterate, that was why I had asked Mrs. Comer to go through it with us.
I understand.
But I'm
I got a question for that.
Wait a minute.
Excuse me, is he saying that you won't have to look at this? I don't.
No, man, what I'm saying is, I understand that in order to read the reports, that's what this is for, a training session. But as far as making the decision and wanting to know this and wanting to know that, Senate Bill 567, all of the financial decisions that has to do with the board, we come under those two, the emergency manager and the fiscal board. It won't be anything that this board, governing board right now, would be dealing with if it has to do with finances.
But I hope we still see
For sure.
some kind of,
For
reporting of the finance.
Well, I mean, that's in the bill, what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Would you let me go this?
Hold
You
down,
can ask me a
hold
question, I'm trying to
down,
explain
hold down. We've had such an orderly meeting, you must be getting hungry.
Well, I'm talking to Ms. Comer, she asked me a
Yes.
question, I'm giving the clarification.
Yes, go right
But
ahead.
me and while I'm talking.
That's okay, we're gonna, that's okay, that's okay. Mr. Pickett, pension, Dr., don't pension, Dr. Be quiet, just speak.
Okay.
You finished, Mr. Bud?
Yes.
Okay, but all I'm saying is, I don't know to what extent, but I do hope that we will all see what's happening in our district. Even though we will not be, if I understand that bill, we will not have to deal with the financial part of the district. But as stewards of this district, there are certain things that we still need to know.
The bill said that they would share that with us, so that's all we need to do.
Okay, okay. Yes, sir. Now it's your
Mr.
time.
Bugs, I was not trying to disrespect you, but I was just trying to bring some clarity to it. Anytime those three people make some decision, I would hope they would come back to this board and explain to us financially what was done.
They will do that, it's already in the bill that they're gonna do that.
At first you didn't say that. You said we wouldn't have anything to do with it, that's what you said.
Okay,
Now,
good.
we will be making the decisions, that's what's in the bill.
Well, we have something to say.
Okay, we're gonna move
Okay.
it, we're gonna move it along
No
now.
argument.
No, we're not having that.
No, we ain't arguing.
Well,
That's
come
my
on,
friend, I ain't arguing, Bud.
come on, babe.
The issue for me is accountability, transparency and accountability. And I agree that we very well will not be making the decision. But let me just share this with you. We still are stewards, these people put us in office, and we just can't turn a blind eye and deaf ear to what's going on. I would hope that that fiscal board will communicate with us, if for not, and that our representative will let us know everything that's going on, because I wanna know, because when the people ask me out in the community, I wanna be able to tell them something other than I don't know they're doing it. That's the danger of this bill, that it's gonna remove the citizens from the actual, things that are taking place. We may get a report at the end of the year every 6 months. Well, that horse done left the barn already. So I'm just saying that we've gotta have accountability with this money, else you think it's bad now, we won't know where anything is going. That's my observation.
Just one other point of clarification, it's my understanding that when it comes to issues like this, once the meeting is adjourned, it's not our responsibility as a board member to be explaining anything to the public.
Okay, we're gonna keep it moving.
Okay, all right, the, last, item in your packet is the, federal programs invoice schedule. And some of our federal programs,